What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel in Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul seem to have a date or at least a weekend in mind when they're going to fight. It looks like it's going to be June 5th in Miami, according to all the reports and all the rumors out there. But it looks like Miami, June 5th. Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. There's even some rules and regulations that have been released. It looks like it's going to be shown pay-per-view on Showtime. Also, Jake Paul has to be under 190 pounds to come into the fight. Floyd Mayweather has to be under 160 pounds. So it looks like there's going to be a good, nice weight difference. We're talking about close to between 25 and 30 pound weight difference between the two fighters. But let's be real. This is Floyd Mayweather. This is a professional boxer. This is, 50-0, 51-0, whatever Floyd is. Professional boxer, 25 years in the game. The best defensive boxer probably in the history of boxing. Fighting a YouTuber. I mean, he is what he is. He's a YouTuber. Jake Paul is a YouTuber. He made his name, made his money off making cool, funny videos that people watch, millions and millions of views. Here's the thing. Here's why, but all of this makes sense, right? The timing, the release date, all of this makes sense to come out now. Why? Because Jake's little brother, Logan. He's fighting Logan Paul. He's not fighting Jake Paul. See, it got me confused. He's fighting Logan Paul. But Logan Paul's little brother, Jake, just knocked out Ben Askren, a UFC fighter. So what is Floyd doing? He's capitalizing on the hype of the Paul name. Jake Paul has knocked out Nate Robinson and Ben Askren. I think he's 3-0. He beat another guy before then. But the two fights that everybody remembers, everybody has seen, is him knocking out Nate, was the knockout heard around the world, and he knocked out Ben Askren, who was actually a professional fighter. He's a professional UFC fighter, but nonetheless, he is a professional fighter. He's not Nate Robinson, who's a professional basketball player. He was actually a professional fighter. And he knocked out Askren in the first round. Like, we got to clap it up for Jake on that one. I'm not going to lie. So it's clear that Jake takes this boxing thing serious. It's not so much for his older brother, Logan. Now, his older brother is taller. I think he's a little bigger, and he's in shape and stuff. So he's not like going to come in looking like Ben Askren, all fat and out of shape. He's going to come in shape, but he's not a boxer. And even if he was a boxer, this is Floyd Money Mayweather. This is 50-0. This is money. This is Floyd. This is TBE, the best ever. You know what I'm saying? Like his mantra. He don't have a chance of making it out of this fight against Floyd. He's not going to land a punch, even at 40 plus years old. Logan Paul doesn't stand a chance against Floyd. Even his brother Jake has come out and said, my brother is screwed. My brother doesn't have a chance. So, but why does Floyd do this? Why would Floyd take a fight against a YouTuber? Why would Floyd go against a Logan Paul who's not a fighter, who has no business being in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather? For years, Floyd wouldn't even fight the best fighters in boxing until it looked like they were over the hill or past their prime. And then he ended up fighting them all and beating them all because he's 50-0, 51-0, whatever he is. Here's why Floyd would do it. Floyd's all about the bag. Floyd is all about the bag. Think about when he initially set up the fight against Logan Paul. It was right after his younger brother, Jake Paul, put Nate Robinson on the canvas, bounced his head off the canvas. That's when Floyd said, I will fight Logan Paul. Because for months on social media, Logan Paul had been calling out Floyd to get in a boxing ring for months. And Floyd would always ignore it, would show with little to zero interest. That's the best way to get back at somebody, is to not show them any interest at all. He would show little to zero interest in Logan Paul because there was not enough monetary value. There wasn't enough anything to fight Logan Paul. Yeah, Logan Paul has millions and millions of subscribers, but will those subscribers turn into pay-per-view buys? There was no evidence that was the case. YouTube is free, right? Like, so kids that watch Logan Paul do it for free. Podcasts, for the most part, are free. There was no monetary value there. But then Jake goes out and knocks out Nate Robinson, and they look at the numbers in the pay-per-view buys. Now, granted, that was the undercard to the Tyson Roy Jones, but at the same time, Floyd said, This was a knockout heard around the world. This guy, Jake Paul, is Logan Paul's brother. This makes sense. There were pay-per-view buys there in the Jake Paul. The people tuned in to buy to watch Jake Paul. Some of them more so than they wanted to watch Roy Jones and Tyson. So he says, okay, I'll agree to fighting Logan Paul. I'll just create a buzz. I'll say, yeah, I'll set the date. They put out a flyer, all of this stuff. Like it was on, like whatever. And they had a date. Then we got closer. The date was scheduled. I think originally it was scheduled February 20th. They originally supposed to fight February 20th. So we get closer and closer to February 20th, and then all of a sudden the fight's off. It's postponed indefinitely. But what I think happened was Floyd saw that Jake Paul, remember the younger brother, had another fight. By February 20th, Jake Paul's fight against Ben Askren had been announced. So Floyd said, let's postpone our fight because I still don't know what kind of audience you're going to bring, right? Like that was an undercard bout that got a lot of pay-per-view buys off the strength of Tyson and Roy Jones. Well, let me see what Jake does by himself as the headliner, not an undercard, as the headliner. Let me see how many pay-per-view buys at $50 a pop via Triller or whatever that you get, and we'll reassess things. Jake Paul, Funky Ben Askren gets over 1 million buys pay-per-view. Floyd's like, okay, I can work with that. I can work with the 1 million pay-per-view buys. If it was 400,000, it was 100,000, even 750,000, I might think about it. I might not do it. 1.3 million? I can work with that. If your brother, now you're not your brother. I get it. Like you're not a real boxer, whatever, but you're still a Paul. You're still Logan. You're still Logan Paul. You're still Jake Paul's big brother. We know Jake Paul will be there. He won't be fighting, but we'll know he'll be there. We know that your name now I know your name can generate pay-per-view buys because guess what? That's all I care about. I don't care about your YouTube people because YouTube is free. I don't care about your podcast people because podcasts are free. But if you're getting 1.3 pay-per-view buys, I know it wasn't for Ben Askren. It wasn't because of Ben Askren that Jake Paul and Ben Askren, the fight, sold 1.3 million in pay-per-view buys. It's for Jake Paul. So Floyd's like, my name. Floyd's going to take 90% of the gate anyway. Let's just be honest. He's going to get 90 at the gate regardless. So he's like, my name are going to bring my people, and your name can get you at least 1.3 million or somewhere around that. I can work with that. I can work with that at $50, $60 a pop. We get my guys from over at Showtime. We put it on Showtime, not Triller, not the internet. I don't even know how people were able to watch that. We're going to get it on Showtime, so that's going to get us more buys. You just did 1.3 via Triller. I'm going to get my guys at Showtime, an established pay-per-view, buying partner, and we'll do it. We'll set the date, June 5th. June 5th, Miami, Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. Now that I know you can bring in pay-per-view buys, and that's why he did it. That's why he's fighting Logan Paul. He has no shot of losing, but it's all for monetary value and to get his name out there again. Floyd is a businessman, but Floyd doesn't have endorsement deals. Floyd isn't in commercials. Floyd's not the most liked person, especially not in the celebrity world. Floyd doesn't always have the best stance on politics, or he doesn't have any stance a lot of times on politics and stuff. And Floyd's had like domestic violence charges against him. So he's not the most likable person. So what way his main relevance is through the boxing ring. He's a very successful businessman, but a lot of time that keeps you in the shadows. Floyd likes to be front and center. So he's becoming a promoter, Gervonta Davis. And what best way to market yourself is how? Through yourself. So he wants to get back into the spotlight. He wants to get back into the spotlight with a younger generation. Logan Paul's like 25 years old. Floyd's almost 50. Like Floyd's in his 40s, mid 40s. What better way to get into the spotlight and to gravitate even and pull in even more young fans to get back in the boxing ring against a guy you're not going to lose to. Make sure he's not over 190 pounds. That way, if he does, by a miracle, land a shot on you, it's not as heavy as like a 200-pounder. Why not do it? Logan Paul, I want to say, is like 6'3". It's probably going to come in at like 188. It's going to push the envelope close to 190 as close as possible. Floyd's going to come in at 5'8", 155. It's gonna knock him out. And that's just what it is. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr., the Black Boss Channel in Victory Formation. And be sure to follow me over on my YouTube channel, Jeff Lightsy Jr. They're coming after us over here on the Black Boss Channel, so we want to make sure we have multiple ways to get you content. And over there on my channel, Jeff Lightsy Jr. is one way to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next.